you could already have someone if you did all of these at the same time. Yo guys, welcome to this new video. My name is Kalle, and in this video I want to talk about how to sign your first OnlyFans model. And the reason I want to talk about this topic is because in the last week I've spoken to multiple people that are starting out or want to start out in OnlyFans management, but they're actually not getting their first model signed. So in this video I just want to break down like 5 different ways on how to sign your first model. And I'm trying to go a little bit in depth, but not too deep, because otherwise this video would be like multiple hours long. So let's just get started. So we'll just get started with the first method of getting your first model signed. And that is by simply buying a model contract. And maybe this sounds a bit sketchy, but it actually isn't, because a lot of these models are looking for an agency, and they will maybe reach out to like one agency, and the agency will say like, we're actually full at the moment, or they just don't qualify for that agency because of specific reasons, and they will list her in a marketplace. And these marketplaces are just Telegram groups, and in those groups there will be models listed with pictures of their face, their body, where they are from, how old they are, if they speak English, if they're already on OnlyFans, if they're already earning on OnlyFans, like actually making money. And most of the time also they will tell you like the split that the model is comfortable working on. So for example, some models work on a 70-30 split, some models work on a 50-50. That will also be listed in those marketplaces. So with these marketplaces, it is important that you also realize that there are scams. Some marketplaces are not fair. They're not like verified. Make sure to do your research before. And when buying a model, make sure to use a middleman. And if you don't know what a middleman is, just look it up. Make sure your middleman is verified. Make sure it's not a middleman that they recommended, because that can be just a friend of them. So make sure you're not scamming yourself. Make sure you do your proper research about the marketplace, about the middleman. Also realize that a lot of the times these girls listed in marketplaces are either not good enough or they're not very pretty. And that's something that you will have to accept, because you can't just buy a 10 out of 10 English-speaking, young, 18-year-old girl in a marketplace, because the price for a girl like that is just way too high. Either 10 out of 10 is listed in these groups. You have to think about it. Is this actually a good deal, or is this too good to be true? And that's something you have to think about very good before you buy anyone. Another thing about these marketplaces is that a lot of the time, I would say 1 out of 10 models you buy is actually a good model. Like, she will actually work. And there are lots of different scams. You also have to make sure you look at the warranty. So for example, we have had in the past that a model will she was, I would say like 8 out of 10. She spoke English. She was like a proper girl, and the price was also pretty high. So it made sense somewhat, but she was like actually very slow in the first 2 weeks. And we complained about it multiple times to the marketplace owner, to the seller. And after the 2 weeks, the warranty expired, and she just stopped replying. And this is something that happens a lot. So make sure you don't just waste your money on a very pretty girl and you think, oh, I'm golden, and after 2 weeks she leaves. That's a real thing that can happen. So make sure you're very paranoid when you're buying someone. So just take care of yourself. But if you don't have the money to start out with this, there are of course lots of other different ways to get your first model signed. So now we'll just go to a free way, and that is by doing outreach. When you're doing outreach, there are multiple things you have to consider, and we will just get started with the first things. So we'll just get started with Instagram. This doesn't have to be Instagram. You can also do outreach, for example, on TikTok, on Twitter, on OnlyFans themselves. There are lots of different places you can do outreach. You can actually do outreach to people you know in real life. This is maybe even the best way to get your first model. Look in the people you know. Do you know a hot girl? Do you know a girl that would be open to doing OnlyFans? Just reach out, ask them, hey, I'm running an OnlyFans agency. Do you want me to help you with your OnlyFans? Or have you ever considered starting out on OnlyFans? It's very easy, just get started. So when you're doing outreach on Instagram, for example, there are 3 different ways on how you can do the outreach. And the very first is through an agency account. And if you don't know what an agency account looks like, just go to Instagram and look up OnlyFans agency. And you will get a list of at least 50 different agency accounts, and you can just basically make your own. And this is completely free. It will maybe take like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes. Just use Canva, just use some pictures from like Google, and you can easily set up your own agency account. So this is the very first option. The second option is to simply outreach from your personal account. And there are like benefits to both of these, both to the agency account and to the personal account. For example, the personal account may feel like more trustworthy to these models because they have a face to look at. Make sure, of course, on your personal account, you have an open account, you have quality pictures of yourself. You maybe have like a few pictures of like cars you rented or like going on vacation. So you actually look like trustworthy and look like a guy that can help them. And an agency account, of course, proves more of like you're actually an OnlyFans agency. So there are benefits to both of these. And for the personal account, I already talked about like make sure at least look like high quality pictures and you're like look like someone they can trust. And the third option might actually be the best. I would say it is definitely the way to get the most replies to your outreach, and that is using a fake model's account. Also this, you can just set up yourself. And the way you set this up, you can either steal pictures from a girl, like just a random girl on Instagram, steal the pictures, set up an account, or you can ask someone in real life, hey, can I use you as an outreach person? Make like a fake account and send outreach messages from them. Of course, for the fake model, make sure it looks like she's a real girl. Make sure she has like a profile picture. Make sure she has followers. Buy like a ton of followers. It's so easy. It's so cheap. Set up like the feed post. Set up the highlights. Make sure she looks like a real model, someone they can trust. And just from there, you can do outreach. And in my experience, you will get the most replies from this method of outreach, because these girls, they most likely will talk easier to another woman than they would talk to a guy. It's easier to trust a girl that is like they can see as their friend, instead of they have to look at this random guy they have never seen in their lives and they don't know, and it's like you can understand why one of these would work better than the other. But of course, the most important thing is like get started. Maybe you can do both. Maybe you can do all three. Try it yourselves, see what works the best for you. Now we're going to get into where you send these messages. So who do you send these messages to, and how do you find these chicks? So you can look at fraternity girls, you can look at already established OnlyFans girls, you can look at followers, OnlyFans girls. So for example, if you go on the following list or the follower list from like a random OnlyFans model, you will see multiple other girls that are trying to start out with their OnlyFans, and they will be following her, liking her videos, because they are also trying to remake those videos. Another way is when you click on follow on a model, Instagram will give you like 5 options of other people to follow, and a lot of the times these are also girls that are in the same industry, are trying to get started on OnlyFans, and it's also very easy to recognize a girl that's just getting started. They most likely have like a wrong link in their bio, like a straight link to OnlyFans. This will of course get their account flagged, so it's easy to recognize that these girls don't know what they are doing. Therefore, they are a great target for you. And like I said before, you can also go look up like different fraternities, look between the following and the followers and the people that are posted, the girls that are posted on these accounts. And a lot of the times, these are young chicks that want to make some extra money, and you can just approach them and say, hey, have you ever thought about doing OnlyFans? You would do so great. You look amazing. I think you would do really well, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's talk about the volume, because this is a lot of people go wrong here. They think they will get their first reply when they did like 100 messages. And if you do 100 messages and you have a good outreach message, you should get responses. But don't be so entitled to think that when you do like, oh my God, I did 200 messages, no one replied, I should just give up. Do 100 messages a day at least. Like, you need to do some volume. And when you're actually doing volume, you'll notice that some messages just work better than others. You can, for example, on an agency account or a personal account, you can actually use your voice. Instead of setting the basic, hey, have you ever thought about doing OnlyFans? or sending the basic message with you look amazing but you're making these mistakes. Like, it's such a basic outreach message. You can actually try and use your voice, send a voice memo to them. Hey, I think you look very great, very good. There are only like these and these things you could do better, or have you ever considered using an OnlyFans agency? Just get started, and you will notice when you get started, there are like reasons these girls are either not with an agency, broken up with an agency, or some of them have never heard about an agency. A reply is a reply. A reply is like, they're basically saying, I have done it or I have not done it because of this. Please convince me otherwise. It's that easy. So make sure to do the volume, and you'll get just experience, and you'll get to know like different messages. Like, oh, if I ask this girl, and I'm messaging from a model's account. If I ask this girl, hey, where's your top from? I have a higher response rate than when I ask them, hey, you should try out my agency. It's just simple, it's facts. If you ask a girl a real question, like completely apart from the OnlyFans part, there's a higher chance they will react to that. So make sure to try different angles, to do a lot of volume, and people will reply eventually. So let's get into the next way, and this is one of, I think, the highest converting ways of getting models. It's referrals. So for referrals, there are actually two types, and one of them is basically just people you know directly. So for example, if you know this girl from high school and she was always pretty open to showing her body on Instagram or whatever, she was always open-minded and she wasn't like, oh, it's such a war thing to do. Try them out, send them a message, maybe they will help you, maybe they know someone else that is open to do on OnlyFans and is actually looking for an agency. A lot of the times, these girls are actually looking for someone, but they have just never got to reaching out to someone or reaching out to an agency. Make sure everyone that you know knows that you're looking for models. And the second way is by asking club or bar owners or bouncers. If you go out to like the nightlife, a lot of these girls on a regular showing up to clubs, and the bouncers will start to know them. And if you build a good connection with a bouncer, they will send models to you that they think are open to doing OnlyFans, or maybe the bouncers know they do OnlyFans. Of course, with referrals, you need to offer something in return. So if I offer you to pay you $20 every time you refer a model to me, there's a high chance that you will be like, okay, fuck these $20, I don't give a fuck. And the other option is like, give them a lot of money or give them a percentage. Make sure it's also worth their time. So for example, if I say, every time you send a model to me and she starts working for me, I pay you $10,000, there's a lot higher chance you will actually take the time and send these models to me, because it might completely change your life just sending through models, and it will actually create a job for them. Of course, $10,000 is a lot of money. So what you can also do is share a percentage of the models. So let's say, for every model you send to me, I will pay you 5 or 10% of the model's earnings for the first 12 months, for example. And this gives the referrer like a steady income, and it will also give them the opportunity to keep sending you models, because it will actually be a better job for them than the job they currently have. So make sure it's also worth the time of the one that's referring those models to you. Now let's get into two other ways that you can still get models. And the first one is running ads. Of course, you need money for this. So if you don't have money, you can just skip this one, but maybe it's still good to understand how it works. So for example, on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, or Facebook, or Google, you can run ads or run like a promotion. And to get like these models signed up to you, it's very important that you provide value before you ask something from them. So there's a lot higher chance when I do this promotion and I simply run like, I'm an OnlyFans agency and you can sign with me. There's not a high chance people will sign, because you don't provide any social proof, you don't provide any value to them, they don't know you. It's very important that when you do this, you provide value before selling. This is called a lead magnet. There are like multiple videos online or even books on how to make a proper lead magnet. A simple example of this, when you're running an ad, you give them something that they can use. So for example, you give them a little checklist on how to check on Instagram if their account is being shadow banned. Because a lot of these girls that are running like new reels, they don't even know that their account is shadow banned and that is the reason why they're not getting views. And don't be scared to provide too much value up front, because if you don't provide enough value up front, they won't sign and you can never even provide anything else. So there's never something that you provide too much value. You can provide not enough value because they won't sign ever and you won't ever have the opportunity to show them the other things you know. Make sure you provide a lot of value in the first place, so then they sign and then you can provide more. Don't be scared to provide enough value in the first place, because there's no such thing as providing too much value in the first place. If no one ever signs with you, you might have like amazing knowledge and you're actually able to get them to 100,000 a month within no time, but they will never know because they never signed, because you never provided enough value in the first place. So it's very important to provide value in the first place, then they will sign and then you can provide more value. And this is not only for running ads, it also applies to doing outreach. You can help these girls before they sign with you. You don't have to gatekeep them before they sign. Just help them out. They will come back to you because they know you have the knowledge now. Let's go on to the last method, and this is SEO. For this, you need to build like a Google website, and maybe you have the skills already to build a site yourself. Maybe you know someone that can build a site for you pretty easily. Maybe you can just watch a video on YouTube and learn how to build your own website, because it's a good skill in general. And then when you have this website, you can start with doing SEO, and this is search engine optimization. And with this, you actually make sure Google shows your site when people are just looking for simple words. So for example, if a girl is looking for OnlyFans management, your site will end up on their search. So it's very important that you set up some SEO. And on this, again, there are like tens or hundreds of video online just on YouTube for free that will show you how to like optimize your search engine. And of course, this might not be the best way, but it is a way to sign a model. And you should try multiple of these ways. I now see like 5 different ways, and I've broken down all of them. And you're just gonna say like, oh well, I'm just gonna go on outreach and I'm not gonna set up a Google website. I'm not gonna run ads. I'm not gonna let anyone in my circle know that I'm looking for models. It's just, you can still get a model if you only do outreach, but you're just decreasing the chances you get one for yourself. And it's like a shame, because you could already have someone if you did all of these at the same time. So there are probably more ways to get your first model, but these are just the main 5 in my opinion. And now it's time for you to actually take action, because you can get a model, but you can like watch like 10 other videos about how do I get my first model. And after those 10 other videos, you will still be stuck at the same place because you won't have taken action. So the very first thing you actually need to do is get started. It's very easy to reach out to people and send them a message. Hey, I think you look amazing. You would do great on OnlyFans. Let's do a call sometime and I will explain on the call how I can help you make more money. Another thing is do volume and attack from multiple angles. And I talked about it like a second ago. Don't only do outreach, or don't only go up to bouncers and ask like, hey, if you send any models through, I will pay you this and this. Do all of them. Set up a website, reach out to people in real life, like get some referrals in, try to buy a model contract, or at least look at some marketplaces. Maybe there's someone for sale for like $500 and she's just ugly, but who cares? You don't have a model at the moment. So an ugly model is more than no model. Like, it's very important that you try all of these angles at the same time and you actually do volume. Don't send 100 messages and be like, oh, no one replied. Okay, I guess this doesn't work for me. You need to do multiple angles. You need to do a lot of volume. So the next one is accept anyone. And there's a very simple reason for this. You need the experience. You don't have any experience yet. So accept anyone, even if she's ugly, even if she's like 50-year-old, you can still like practice and you will get to know like different ways of marketing. You will get to know different ways of getting your first model signed. You will get to know the problems that these girls are looking at. You will like get to know like, okay, this girl, she's 50 and she wants to do OnlyFans, but the main thing she has in her head is that she's scared of the contract. And that is something that can help you in further negotiations with other models. You can tell them, hey, we will just do a trial of like 30 days. And after 30 days, you can decide if you want to keep going with us or if you want to stop the contract. And this is something very simple, but it actually helps a lot because a lot of these girls are A, scared of contracts, B, scared that you will steal from them. So for example, you can also explain to them, you pay me, I don't pay you. And that's a very important thing for these girls. They get the money first, they pay you. It's not the other way around. It's very simple. And there are like, I would say like 20, 30, maybe even 40 different reasons that girls don't sign in the first place. And it's very important that you get to know these reasons so you can actually use them in the negotiations. Like, don't let her be the one that talks about the contract. You should be the one that tells her, hey, you might be scared of the contract, but don't worry, we will do a 30-day trial, and after the 30 days, you can decide if you want to keep going. Or, for example, if the girl is scared of like getting scammed by you, you can be the one to bring it up. Hey, just to make sure, OnlyFans will send you the money and you pay me, instead of she is just confused and she maybe doesn't want to say to you what she is actually thinking about. So you should be the one that brings things up in the conversation, and it will help you build trust with the model. And that way it will actually help you sign the model. Now you have your first model, and after you get your first model, it's very important you keep going. Don't be like, oh, I got my first model, now I'll just only focus on marketing her and making her money. No, because it's your first model, there's a high chance she will leave in like the first 2 to 3 months because you don't actually have the experience. For that reason, it's very important to keep going with the outreach, keep going with the referrals, keep going with the Google website, keep going with buying extra girls, because one model is not safe. She's gonna leave, and that's like the hard reality in this business. But girls are gonna leave, and maybe they're gonna leave right now, maybe they're gonna leave in like 10 years, but there will be a time that they leave, because of course they're not gonna do OnlyFans the rest of their life. So keep going after you sign your first model, and that's about it for this video. I want to thank you for watching, thank you for your time, and let's just get started. If you have any further questions on how to market your model, how to sign your first model, how to do the sales call, how to get your results that you can show in the DMs, how to do the chatting on OnlyFans, how to set up the OnlyFans. If you have any further questions, I've done it before. Make sure to check out the link down below, and I see you in the next one. Bye.